Hello, I'm Timothy Hobbs, and today I'll be doing another session of live coding, and I'll be continuing with setting up the website with the blog for Gradesta that will host these live coding recordings. And so where I left off is that I had set up a Hugo website, and I based it off of the Portio theme, which I selected in the previous episode. And now I'm going to configure the Portio theme to look differently and have different content so that it looks the way I want it. I don't yet have like graphics and icons for my project, and so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. I'm currently working with a graphic designer, and he has advised me that it's better to like spend a bit of time working together and get a sense for brand feel before designing the logo than to go and design the logo from the start, like as the first task. So right now he's working on wireframes, and he'll hopefully send me those wireframes on Monday, and I can put those wireframes up on the website. So for now, I'm going to be trying to think and hawing about what I'm going to put there. I'm basing my plans off of a similar website that I did for the Vegan Buddies app that I also haven't built yet. And there I have the wireframe here, and I have some like mood setting photo here. And in the case of Gradesta, I'm going to switch that up. I'm going to put the wireframe here, and maybe I'll actually have multiple of these sections with different wireframe images showing different features of the app. And for now, since I don't have those wireframes yet, I'll have to think of what I'm going to put there instead. And yeah, so I'm going to start out by just ignoring that problem. And I'll go into config.yaml and start putting in what I can, which is, for example, the URL, gradesta.com. It's English. Theme is Portio. Title is Gradesta Audio Native Computing. And so what's service section? Maybe I can rename that to something else, and portfolio, that's something that I think that I'll just delete. So I'll get rid of the resume and the portfolio and the skills section and the testimonials section. Just going to be deleting stuff. And I want to put the blog up near the top where I'm going to have the live coding things. Though maybe it would be better if the blog so case study 1, actually the case studies is something I'm going to keep. I'm going to be trying to find product market fit, and I'm going to create like customer stories about the non-existent app, and I'm going to share those stories with people and ask them if they relate to those stories and if they'd pay money to follow that path to get those solutions. So I'm going to keep this section, but I don't know what I'm going to fill in right now since I don't have content for that yet. But this resume thing is definitely not useful for me. So useful, not useful, and not useful, and well, I'll keep this for now. But like testimonials doesn't really make sense for a non-existent app. I'll delete that for now, and then I'll add it again later. What I should probably do is I should go through and I should make like micro commits so that it's easier for me to undo the things that I delete. So I can, for example, delete this in a commit that I can roll back later, right? And so I guess I'll start. I said I was going to do micro commits, but I don't really know how to do that. Like, I just renamed these things, and then I'd have to rename, like, stories now doesn't point to anything, right? And so I need to rename those two sections, and how do I do that? I don't have any social media for my company yet, so I'll delete that in the future. But right now I'm going to rename those sections because I want to make like clear micro commits. How would I even do that? I don't know if you can do that without just like redoing the entire right, like here it's ID portfolio in the Portio source code, and so I'm gonna have to edit the Portio source code in order to change the ID of that section. So maybe I should start with something. Oh my gosh, I just closed Emacs for whatever reason. I should start with something that doesn't involve, and now I can't undo those changes. I'll have to use Git to undo those changes. I can't even use Git to undo those changes because, wait, I never committed those. I never committed that. I've gotten things really confused. I'm doing really bad stuff. Like I have this really dirty Git repository that I have all sorts of stuff that doesn't that I've started working on and I didn't commit any time. So first I need to fix this problem. So I have this I need to stage for committing. Unstage that, and And now I want to stage, I want to copy from, I want to just undo any changes I made to the Portio thing. And I'm going to go ahead and commit the defaults as if they were actually what I want, even though they're not what I want. And that way I can make small changes to the default settings of the Portio theme, and it'll like not be messy. And I know I start from something that's working. This looks like something that should be in git ignore. So I want to stage that. Of course, I want to stage the deletions of the old web stuff. But if I commit all this, then I'll be committing a bunch of images that I'll be deleting immediately. And so I should actually not do that. I should unstage those images. I can really do this, right? Select the bunch and just click on stage, and they're gone. That's interesting. That looks weird. I don't want to stage that yet. And I'm not going to stage that. I'm going to So I'll go ahead and commit this. And then I will go and try to set up a git ignore thing to, I'm not even sure what this resources is, but I'm gonna add that to git ignore. So and now we have this, and this can be staged, and it's just adding and now, so these images are not going to get staged yet, and I will stage them at the very end. It's not like I'm going to be editing those images, so it's not going to mess up with my micro commits that the images are not going to be added in. I'm only going to be changing the things in the text-based files. And so the first thing I'm going to do is create a commit that sets that just going to go ahead and commit that file so it's not lying around here distracting me. And then I'm going to change the menu names for these sections, but I'm not going to change the anchors. So service, I'm going to change service to features. Work to stories, and that's the only change that I'm going to make here. So we can go ahead and make another tiny commit. I should prefix the commits with web so I know what they're referring to, since this is a mono repo. And then I'm going to delete the resume section as one commit. And that only deleted the menu item for it. Skills and testimonials are not even listed in the menu, but I'm going to delete those next. But I'm going to start with the resume thing. And how would I do that? If I delete resume section.io, the .yaml, what happens? It disappears? Okay. If I delete skills, what happens? It disappears. If I delete testimonials, it disappears. Okay, so that was easy. It's a little bit weird how now it's like there's no visual contrast between the portfolio section and the blog. Because before, the resume section was dark in color, and now there's no clear visual thing going on. And so I'm going to leave that up to some kind of person who is going to come after me and fix this pile of problem, because that's not really worth my time to fix, but it's definitely something that should be fixed. And so now skills. Wait, did I actually say that I want to keep the skills section? Maybe I wanted to keep the skills section. I wanted to delete this testimonial section, that's for sure. Web. And now I should go and check out the skills section. Nah, I want to delete that. Okay. So now, if it's possible, I'd like to put the blog higher. Like, maybe even up here. That's not such a burning thing though. Like it's kind of a fiddle. And I think that I should leave the fiddles to, like, if I have a web designer at some point to fix that. Basically, I'm taking this beautiful template and just completely making everything that was nice about it ugly, and then I'll like publish it. It's gonna be great. So I guess I'll start with the hero, which is this first section here. Oh no, that's too long. We are working on audio native computing. Maybe I shouldn't have used the Portio theme, because if, like with Goodnight Gradesta, I was saying that it's good for using it at night because there's no, like if you're doing audio native computing, it's not going to be shining in your eyes. And like, of course I have Midnight Lizard, which can make things dark. Go on. Oh my gosh, that's ugly. But, wait, this moves? That's interesting. But this theme doesn't natively support dark mode. And there were some Hugo themes that did support dark mode natively. Maybe I should have spent more time choosing a theme so that I would have one that supported dark mode. Because then I would be kind of like weird and hypocritical in a way. Of course, if you go by the whole idea that you should launch fast and like break things and blah blah blah, I'm more of a move slow and do things once kind of guy, but maybe I'm getting too held up on this whole like choosing a theme thing, but it does seem to me like, I don't know, it just hurts my soul, the idea of not having a dark mode, if it's possible to have a dark mode that automatically switches to the dark theme if the computer is set to the dark theme on web browsers that support that. And there were some of them that did support that. Like Hugo. I just didn't think that they fit some other. I'm gonna switch off dark mode again. It hurts my eyes immediately when I switch it off. You get used to it really quickly. Themes.go Hugo. Like this one does support the dark mode. PaperMod supports the dark mode, right? You go here and demo. Only the PaperMod thing isn't like a product website, it's a personal blog kind of thing. Uh, okay, so back from a little bit of a break because I got distracted by setting up the domain for the Vegan Buddies website. Text messaging with my friend or colleague or whoever who I'm working with. And so back to this whole like perfectionism thing that I'm thinking, which theme should I use? And arguing with myself over it. And it seems to me like every time there's a new feature that I come across, I've never seen a website that had, or I guess I've seen it a couple of times, websites with dark modes and light modes. I liked it, but before they existed, I didn't. Well, I guess I installed Midnight Lizard years ago, but I don't know, like, is it really necessary to have this thing, uh, this possibility of having the dark mode and the light mode? So here you have, like, how would I imagine, and this has dark mode and light mode. How do you turn it on and off here? So if I were to use this template, then I could have like the wireframe here, and I would have to switch the wireframe, dark mode and light mode, when this was clicked. And then I would just have like Gradesta audio native computing, or the future is audio native computing, or some marketing bullshit line like that. And I don't know if there's enough space here to really explain it. I'd have to have it here in the about section trying to explain it, and this is a block of text. People never read blocks of text. If I compare it to this Portio theme, then you kind of end up having things spread out more in a more structured and how would I say, atomized manner. And I guess that works better. So the only real problem with this Portio theme is that it doesn't have the dark mode. And dark mode could be a separate project that you did later. Like if I ever hire somebody, if I ever actually make money off of this and I hire somebody to fix the website, I can just tell them, hey, add some CSS, and they'll do that, right? It's not like dark mode is this thing that's impossible to attain unless you design for it from the start, hopefully. Hopefully. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like the most of the ones that have both dark and light mode are pretty much the same. This one's not the same. Maybe I didn't really notice this one because it looks weird. With the line, it looks like an ugly page, but it's actually trying to show in this thumbnail the possibilities of dark and light. I'm gonna try looking at this one, this demo. It does have, I like the fact that the blog is up here, and that's something that I can work with, but I kind of want to have the stories and the blog separated, because I have the blog, I'll put the live coding things here in the blog, and the stories will be in this place that's the portfolio now. Though I also thought about having the live codings all be on Gradesta.org, and not have them on Gradesta.com at all. But that would mean that I'd have to go and switch Gradesta.org over to Hugo as well, which perhaps isn't such a tragedy, but I'd have to select another theme and create another website, whereas now Gradesta.org is very simple, It's just a static page that I never change, and it's done, It has the GitHub link, it has the level 0 docs, and it has the link to Gradesta.com. And, well, I'm sure that Gradesta.org should be changed at some point, but I don't know if I want to change it right now. Maybe I'll start out by posting the development podcast or webcasts to Gradesta.com and then move them over to Gradesta.org in the future. But it seems to me like I'm putting a lot of content when I'm coding, when I'm live coding. I'm not going to be working on the open source project mostly. At the beginning, I'll be working mostly on the open source project, but as I get outside of the open core and into the parts that aren't part of the open source project, I'll be working on the company, and then it doesn't belong on Gradesta.org. So, yeah. I keep on getting distracted today because I just was, I guess in the evening I was having some chat conversations going. And so now I have to get back to what I was doing. And what I was doing was I was looking at this theme. And I was saying that these the fact that the blog is up here is good, but I don't have really the ability to have featured posts. And I was also thinking about the question of whether... So I keep on getting distracted today, and and I guess it's because I was having some chat conversations going on and I was dealing with the Vegan Buddy stuff, but I was wondering if I should keep this theme, despite the fact that it doesn't have dark mode, and hope that in the future I'll be able to pay somebody to add dark mode to this theme. That seems like a good idea. And I guess I'm generally kind of feeling like I'm doing all of this work to make it so that I have a website. I don't really have the website really planned out. I don't have content for it yet. I just want to put the screencasts up quickly, and in the future, obviously, once the company's going, I won't have these screencasts on the main website or in the main section of the website. It's not going to be like the main company blog. I'm going to be live coding on the main company blog. That just doesn't make much sense. It doesn't seem very professional, and it wouldn't be interesting to most consumers. And I don't have content for the website yet. I'm not sure if this is a good time investment for me to be building this website myself when there's people that are obviously much more experienced than I am at building websites. I'm a software developer. I'm not a website designer. But I do want to quickly get out a website, and I don't have endless money. I don't know what it would cost to get a good website developer, and if I do get a website developer who uses the Adobe tools and creates a website, then it won't be using a static site generator like Hugo. I would have to find somebody who designs websites using a static site generator if I want to go the static site route. But maybe I'm just being a control freak there. Maybe I should go and just totally give up control of the website to somebody who does websites, not think more about it. But for now, I'm just going to power through, and I'll put those concerns to rest, I guess. Because I really want to have, in the very near future, the website where I can show people the screencasts and start to build an audience. And I guess I just really want to start to build the audience. One thing that I really want to do is I have this contact me button, and I have a button URL, but I actually want to have a form here because I want to use what I have in the other site, which in the previous one, which is that I have the form for signing up for the mailing list. And I do that with this code that I copied and changed from the what is it called, Monkey MailChimp website. I just copied it out of there and changed it a bit. I wonder what happens if you copy that form directly into this YAML file. I presume it will just crap out on me. It'll tell me my indentation's bad, it doesn't like me. Why is the indentation bad, actually? What is this red stuff here? Oh, that's a tab? Why are there tabs mixed in? It's bizarre. So I'm just trying to get rid of any indentation to see if I can't get it so that it's liking me. And then I'll re-indent it correctly if I can get it to not hate me. I presume just getting rid of those tabs was enough, and right now I'm actually making it worse by getting rid of the correct indentations. So what's going on now? It seems to me like the HTML just gets completely removed. So what happens if I put this into the HTML template of the Portio, right into the theme? If I can find partials hero.html, where is that contact me button? Do I see an F there? Is this even getting updated? Why doesn't that get updated when I change the theme? What if I delete this button here? No changes. And if I go and restart the server, it's on a different port again, 33355. Okay, so I need to restart the server in order to get it to reload the theme stuff, because I think it's called fast reloading. And now I have some formatting problems that I should be able to deal with somehow. Okay, so I now have this video. I want to get rid of this video. And I'll do that not by editing the theme, but by changing the hero.yaml. I'll get rid of the video URL and the video is gone. And the subscribe button looks ugly because it's not in the same style as the other buttons, and I can fix that by searching for a button that hasn't been in like one of the other buttons. Partial layouts, partials, and if I go and find the about section button, then copy this right here to the subscribe button. Whoops, since we're using, I guess, Bootstrap here instead of Bulma, and so the things are named differently. And I also have the trouble that this button and this text field are like overlapping. But yeah, what happens when I do this? What's in this? Gradesta.com. That's interesting. Oh, whatever. So I can sign up for the mailing list like that. It works properly, and I know that in Bootstrap, I presume this is Bootstrap. I presume this is Bootstrap, based off of looking at it. Yeah, this is Bootstrap. There's some way of making it so that the input and the button field are joined, and I want to go ahead and do that. I didn't want the Wikipedia article for Bootstrap, I wanted the documentation. Okay, so how do I find the documents? Docs, forms, input group maybe? That looks very promising. this looks like what I want. So I want to do a class input group and div yeah, I was supposed to just copy that. And the button disappeared. Class button outline secondary, and this text class form control. Where is the button now? Maybe this is invalid HTML right now. Well, that really didn't help. I think that's what I needed. Oh, this is the fake input that's added, right? Isn't it? Here's the real input. How do you even do that then? If they need the fake one. This anti-robot code is definitely making things complicated. But unfortunately it is necessary. I don't know what that MR thing does. And what if I get rid of the style position absolute left? I think that's something that I added to style things. Well, that certainly looks better in a way, but obviously it's completely broken now because I have too many div endings here. I don't know, maybe too many. Okay, so we're getting closer, and now the subscribe button is wrong. And what I need to do button outline secondary. It's still not sitting correctly in the place that it should be, and I think that it's confused by the fact that there's that fake input, but not really sure how to get rid of that. With, like, yeah, not sure how to get rid of that. And now I have the problem that the sign up for updates bit which I don't even want to have, actually. I don't want to write sign up for updates. I want to write something else, but that's kind of irrelevant. So I don't want it to be H2. You can really see what parts of the theme that I've updated and what parts were created by the actual designers. It's kind of sad. I'll just leave it at sign up for updates for now. So at this point, what I should do is I should commit these changes that to the hero. So I'm going to make one commit to the Actually, I guess that I could perhaps the problem is that I need to use the arias. And yeah. Though I guess the arias would break the thing where the that confuses break the fact that the bots are confused, right? Because the bots are confused by the fact that the input that's next to the button is not the actual input. And if I do the arias, then I'm actually helping the bots figure out what's going on. But that didn't help. That did not help at all. form control. Okay, that helped a lot. Setting the class for the input correctly. And now there's the question of the fact that here the lines are connected, and here the lines are distinctly not connected. I have a bunch of this Bulma stuff, and I think that it's confusing things. So I'll get rid of it. So I have an input group. I have this column stuff that's left over from Bulma. This input is the weird one that's hidden. And so I have this input, which is the real input. Oh, wait, I have this button, which is the real button. This input is a hidden input. And this input is a real 1, 2. And they're both on the same level, but there's one thing in between. And what's the MB3 thing do? I have no idea. Doesn't seem to do anything. Okay. I'm gonna leave that for now, and I'm gonna commit. Oh, I did need to fix one thing. I need to make it so that link is absolute. Yep, that fixes things. And someday we can fix the subscribe button, but this is pretty temporary, I think. This is not like what's going to be in the end. There's going to be a different call to action in the future. So maybe that's just going to be a bad call to action for now. Oh, yeah, okay. So what were my calls to action? I need to remind myself. Gradesta, solve these problems, PT4. So, get in touch with users, get feedback from users, schedule video calls with users, find out if users are willing to pay, build an audience, get visitors, freelancers to apply for a job, get visitors to start contributing to the open source project, get visitors excited about project and talking to their friends. Okay, so what I need to do, I'm not, I mostly want to get in touch with users. I want to start talking to them. And signing up for updates, that's something I would never do myself. And it's also something that's not directly like start a conversation type of thing. It's just like this, I want to passively accept spam from Gradesta. And most people don't want to passively accept spam from Gradesta. But some people might want to get in touch, though, like, I don't know, maybe I'm a weird person, but usually when I come across a website and it's like, call us, then I'm just like, oh my God, talk to somebody. I'm an introvert. I don't talk to people. But maybe other people are different. I don't know. Like, how do you start talking to people, like, on the web? How do you get it so that you start a conversation with somebody who's visiting your website? Like, sometimes I do type things in those chat boxes that come up and, like, pretend like the person's online. Usually it's like, fuck you, I hate your website, or something like that. I'm not usually that mean, but oftentimes I use that to report bugs. I'm like, oh, I noticed this bug, this page isn't loading. Uh, which is also really good feedback. So maybe those chat things are good. Sure, there's none that are GDPR compliant. Um, hmm. And if there are ones that are GDPR compliant, they're probably brutally expensive. There might be something open source, but then I'd have to like figure out hosting for it. Today I was doing veganism outreach, and what we were doing is that we were doing Cue of Truth, which is when you have a bunch of televisions showing general like animals being raised and killed, and you can see how it works on the factory farms, and people would walk by. It was in the main, major square in Prague, and people would walk by and they'd start looking at the television screen. And what I was doing was outreach, which means that I would go up and I would watch the people watching the television for a while, and then I would try to casually attain eye contact with the people. And so I just kind of walk up, and maybe they wouldn't want to talk to me, so they would just kind of look away, and I wouldn't bother them. But if they did establish eye contact with me, then I would start talking to them, and we'd start talking about what's going on in the factory farms, and I would try to lead them towards the idea that maybe they shouldn't eat the products that come from these farms. And, well, the thing is that in this website, of course, we have this girl here, She's making eye contact really hard. I just because of the fact that I'm human, I want to look at her eyes, but the conversation's not being started. And it's the weird thing about websites is that unlike in a store where you go into a clothing store and there's the like the salesperson there, and you can or cannot, you can decide to make eye contact with them and start talking to them, but you don't have to. Uh, Here, that whole conversation starting dynamic just doesn't work. I guess with Gradesta, we have the opportunity in the future to start a conversation because people will be turning on their microphones. And if I have like a demo or the actual application that you can start using Gradesta immediately, you can start working audio native in your browser immediately on the first page, then I can like see, hey, this person's been working at it for 5 minutes. I can go start talking to them, and their microphone's on. They're already expecting to hear sound, and then they hear, "Hi, this is Timothy. I've seen you're on our website for 5 minutes, testing out our software. How do you like it?" Yeah, we are live. We're talking. That would be really interesting, but it would still lack the whole eye contact game. What if the person didn't want to talk to me? How would I know? Because there's none of the eye contact game. Um, and of course, you don't want to just like barge into like starting to talk to people when they're not expecting it with no eye contact game before then, because that could make them feel really uncomfortable, and it could just be creepy and weird. So I don't know. Like, how do you start a conversation with somebody on a website? How do you play the eye contact game? Like through a website. I don't know. Have the googly eyes. Down here, you'd have this little like Microsoft paperclip thing, and it's just following your eyes. But you'd have to have web camera access for that to work. It seems really, really difficult. Um, like already we have like all these contact hire me now links that go to the contact page and hire me, contact me. It's trying pretty hard to do the whole conversation thing already. It's just get in touch. It's like three calls to action for the same. Actually, it's four. One, two, three, four calls to action for getting in touch, just in case the user missed it. With like different texts, this is interesting. I wonder if they really thought about this. Hire me now, hire me, get in touch, contact. Four different texts for the same call to action. Interesting. I wonder what would happen if you were to have like a button that would start a phone call right in the browser, like a Jitsi Meet, and it would like start ringing on my side immediately. That would be interesting, I think. Yeah. For now, I'm just going to stay with the calls to action that we have, but I need to update this. I need to change the phone numbers and the contact form. I'm going to get rid of that because, yeah, I just don't like contact forms, and I don't really see the point. Like, why don't you just write an email if you want to contact the person? So, yeah. So I already did the hero thing. I already committed that. And I need to go ahead and add a new remote for this in Git. I need to fork Portio theme, and I need to add a new remote so that I can actually update the theme properly. So Static Mania Portio Hugo. Yeah, I actually did that completely wrong. So I want to fork this as Gradesta, and want to rename the repository to website theme Portio Hugo, so it's easier to get that, git push, and I need to now update the submodules so that it points to website theme Portio Hugo, and then I can go ahead and continue with committing these changes. So I'm going to do that, and we're done. So I have not finished the hero because I still need to deal with this picture here, but other than that, the hero is done.